following show is controversial and contains content you may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. 98 FM.
This is 98 FM's Dublin Talks with Adrian Kennedy.
Good morning, Dublin. Thursday, July 6th, 2017. I hope everything is good with you between now and midday today. This is Adrian Kennedy. This is 98 FM's Dublin Talks. Now, we've lots to get through, including a follow-on to something that we really didn't get our teeth into yesterday, which is whether or not wolf whistling should be banned, should be illegal, because women find it intimidating. We're going to be asking whether or not that is political correctness gone mad, or is this something that should happen? We had a brief discussion about it yesterday, but didn't really have time to get our teeth into it. We're going to get our teeth into it a little bit later on. And what else have we got? Oh yeah, something that annoys an awful lot of you, and we got a really vicious complaint from a woman complaining bitterly about staff in a particular supermarket speaking their own language, much to the annoyance of our listener. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. And much more besides. Between now and midday today, this is 98 FM's Dublin Talks. I'm Adrian Kennedy, and that man there is Darren Cleary.
Adrian Kennedy, hello there.
Hello there, how are we?
We are good, how are you?
Grand, thank you. Grand. Now, loads of stuff in the papers, including some fella called Kennedy waffling away.
I couldn't believe it. I went out to get my breakfast this morning, same time every morning. I'm walking by the paper stand. I always have a gawk at what's making the front pages. And there, to my surprise, was Adrian Kennedy pointing back at me on the front page of the Evening Herald. Couldn't believe it. Adrian Kennedy, there he was in the paper. He didn't even break any laws. You were the only man on the front page of the paper who didn't do something bad today.
Oh, okay.
Congratulations.
Anyway, yes, brand new column in the Herald, started today and every Thursday. So it's on page 15 of the Herald. If you haven't got a copy of the Herald, go and buy a copy of the Herald and read it for yourself. Okay, it's on page 15 of the Herald, and it's our brand new column started today. And
I'm actually going to read it a third time, Adrian, because the first two times I read it, I didn't find a mention of myself. So I'll try again a third time. Maybe I just missed it.
Maybe it is. Yeah. Anyway, yes, page 15 of today's Herald, our new column, and have a read of it. Buy the Herald. It's only 90 cents or something like that. Okay, thank you. Now, what else have you got for me, Darren?
Well, Adrian, funny food combos. That's also making headlines today, after a Twitter user was so appalled by a woman's food creation that he actually reported it to the police. Can you believe that?
Say that again?
He actually reported. This woman posted a picture of what she was eating. Now, granted, what she was eating might be, in some people's eyes, a little bit minging. It was chocolate on toast with some cheese.
Chocolate on toast with some cheese.
So she had a slice of white bread, put some Nutella or whatever your chocolate spread is.
Yeah.
And then she sprinkled some sprinkled some cheese on it and toasted it. It's a bit funky looking. But one man, Jack Young from Glasgow, was so disgusted by this.
He rang the police.
He actually tweeted he tweeted the police, because you can report crimes in many different ways nowadays. He chose to tweet Police Scotland. The 21-year-old said, "Hi, have you seen this at Police Scotland?" He was disgusted by it. He wanted them to take action against this other Twitter user called Huda, who posted the photos with the caption, "Hi Twitter, so here's my amazing chalk and cheese invention, which I'm eating as I tweet."
Now, it does sound a little bit minging, it has to be said, yeah?
Yeah, it does sound a little bit minging.
But it's hardly the crime of the century.
Do you like chocolate, Adrian?
I like chocolate.
Do you like cheese?
I love cheese.
So why would you rule it out? This is the thing. People need to open their mind, broaden their horizons.
But chocolate and cheese should never mix.
How do you know?
It's vile.
Have you tried it?
No, but sweet and savoury doesn't work for me.
Yeah, see, cheese isn't really savoury though. You wouldn't describe cheese as savoury.
You would?
You wouldn't. It's just cheese. It's its own thing.
Yeah.
What's the weirdest thing you eat?
I eat some very weird things.
Any funny food combos? Do you ever put two foods together that shouldn't be put together?
Like cheese and chocolate?
Like cheese and chocolate.
Okay, well, we want you to text or WhatsApp us right now on 0877 98 98 98. 0877 98 98 98 with your weird food combo. Okay? Your weird food combo. Text or WhatsApp us 0877 98 98 98 with your weird food combo. Now, Bear with me for 1 second, because I just want to do a little something here, Darren, if you can hang on for a second, okay? Okay, just 1 second now.
Adrian's toasting some sandwiches.
No. I'm making a phone call, if you don't mind.
Sorry.
Thanks very much indeed, Tim.
You should probably do this on your own time, but okay.
Just, it's an important phone call.
Sorry. Yeah.
But she has to answer. Answer your phone there. Oh. It's a bit awkward.
Hello?
Laura.
Yeah.
Hi, Laura. How are you?
Good.
My name is Adrian Kennedy from 98 FM.
Hi.
How are you?
Great, I'm great. I ran out of the office.
You better get out of the office.
Yeah, I ran out of the office, yes.
You ran
I'm
out of the
excited
office.
to hear from you.
Laura, you sent me a text just a moment ago
Brilliant.
to have a go on 98 FM's Big Slide next weekend.
Yes.
Congratulations, Laura. You've just won yourself 2 wristbands.
Thank you so much.
For
I
98
can't
FM's
wait.
Big Slide. And I believe you live nearby, do you?
I'm right next door.
Because it does say Laura from Christchurch, so I assume you live near where the slide is going
I'll
to be.
just be waving in at you otherwise, yeah.
Excellent. Did you have a go of it last year?
No, I never got tickets, so I am so excited. Thank you so much, Adrian.
You have tickets now. Laura, congratulations. A pair of wristbands for the Big Slide Festival next weekend. All yours. Well done, you.
Well done.
Thanks, Laura. Back to work.
Thanks.
Good luck. Bye-bye.
Her day will go quicker now that she knows she's going down the big slide.
Well, of course it will.
That'll brighten your day.
It certainly will. So well done, Laura. She's just won herself tickets for the Big Slide Festival next weekend. So we want you to text in your weird food combos, okay? To 0877 98 98 98. 0877 98 98 98. I want to hear your weird food combos, because we all have some. We all have odd things. Like, I love banana sandwiches with a bit of sugar.
Oh, that's odd. Yeah.
Yeah, banana sandwich, but there has to be sugar on it. And I just love it.
I don't have any weird ones anymore, but when I was younger, much younger, I used to think it was okay to got a packet of Maltesers, 1 or 2 slices of Easy Singles, and wrap an Easy Single around a Malteser.
Really?
Yeah.
That's as bad as that woman on Twitter.
Yeah, it was oddly tasty.
No,
I haven't tried it in years. I'm not sure if I'd puke if I tried it again. But
an Easy Single with some.
So you get the Malteser. Right?
Yeah.
You take it out of the bag and you get your Easy Singles and you unwrap the Easy Single and you wrap it around the Malteser. So your Malteser turns into a little cheese ball with chocolate in the middle. It's quite glorious.
No.
You should try it.
Peter, text or WhatsApp us right now, 0877 98 98 98, with your weird food combo, because we all have them. We all do. We all have a little thing that's just a little bit odd. Like Peter, you're on 98 FM, Peter. How are you?
Hey lads, good morning. How are you getting on?
Good morning, Peter. How are you?
I'm great, thanks. Great.
Good. Now, Peter, what is your weird food combo?
Coleslaw and toast.
Ew.
Oh God, that's sick.
No, it's not. Don't knock it till you try. It's actually really, really nice.
Oh, that's vile, Peter.
No way, lads. You have to pick up with butter and let the butter melt in and put the coleslaw on top. It's beautiful.
No. I'm sorry. I'm not having it. Firstly, I despise coleslaw.
Oh, terrible.
Coleslaw is the food of the devil.
No, it's just good.
It is. It's the food of the devil. And secondly, even if it weren't the food of the devil, it has no place on a slice of toast.
Oh, it's beautiful. Honest to God, it's the nicest thing ever. It's really, really nice.
Darren, do you eat toast?
I eat toast.
Do you eat coleslaw?
No, I keep the coleslaw. If my toast came with coleslaw, I'd send it back.
Would you ever eat coleslaw?
No, God, no. Keep it.
No. Hang on, let me check. Katie, do you eat coleslaw on toast? No. You're a sicko, I've just been told, Peter. And Jamie, do you eat coleslaw? Oh, absolutely not. It's the food of the devil, I'm sorry.
Oh, it's terrible stuff.
It is
but
rancid.
the people who go to the deli and they get coleslaw on it, they get maybe a chicken fillet roll or something like that. But there's always more coleslaw than anything else. It just turns into a chicken flavoured coleslaw roll.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
Oh, it's horrible stuff.
No, I'm sorry. I'm not having it, Peter.
Oh, well, you're lost, guys. You're lost.
You ought to be executed.
You're a sicko, Peter. You're a sick man. You need help.
Look,
seek help.
6797 981 is our telephone number. Text or WhatsApp us 0877 98 98 98 with your weird food combos. We all have them. And my brother, for example, when we were young, he loved nothing more than getting a packet of salt and vinegar crisps
That's
okay. There's nothing
Which is so
unusual
far.
about that. But then he would add salt and vinegar to the salt and vinegar crisps. So the vinegar he'd put so much vinegar into the crisps that they'd be soggy.
Oh, then that's a bit no.
Right? And then he'd eat them all and his lips would go all white from having so much vinegar.
Is he okay now? Is he still
I don't know if
knocking
he still
around?
does it, actually.
Yeah, it's a bad habit. My
It is.
granny used to butter digestives. Is that a thing? Is that a thing that people do?
Yeah, no, I've seen that done before.
Yeah,
That's not
she used to
overly
do
weird.
that, but she'd lather the butter on. You'd be mistaken that it was a gone off chocolate digestives with so much butter on it. I wouldn't go near now with butter digestives. You don't butter biscuits.
Digestives are the only ones that you wouldn't butter a Kimberley, for example. That'd be a bit odd.
That would be a bit odd.
No, I think I'll accept the digestive, buttering the digestive. Now, where am I going? Shauna, you're on 98 FM. How are you, Shauna?
Hi, how are you?
Shauna, what is your weird food combo?
Peanut butter on a bit of apple.
Oh!
So you just, from the peanut butter spread, like from a jar, and slice up an apple and spread it on. It's delicious.
Do you know what it is about peanut butter? I don't know what it is about I love peanuts, yeah? I love salted peanuts. But I hate peanuts in a Snickers bar. Absolutely despise them. And I can't stand peanut butter either.
Oh, peanut butter's terrible stuff. It's like licking sawdust.
Yeah, I've never liked peanut butter, but I love peanuts. But peanut butter on an apple?
Yeah, it's a love or hate kind of thing, but for me it's just delicious. It's a snack.
And how often would you have a peanut butter? So what do you do? Slice the apple
Yeah.
and spread...
Scoop out the peanut butter with a knife and spread it on. And just take a bite.
And do you do this in private? You couldn't really do this around anyone else because they think
No,
you're a
I
little
would
bit...
do it in front of anyone. I try and get people to taste it and just mix it up.
And how does it generally go down?
Not great.
No, I wouldn't have thought so, no.
No.
Like I said, I don't like peanut butter, but I am going to try, because I know at home at this moment we do have peanut butter and we do have apples. When I go home today, I am going to try, maybe I'll do it tonight. I'm going to try having a slice of apple with some peanut butter on it.
Well, I'll do that as well, right?
Yep.
If you try the easy single and the Malteser.
No.
you have to, Adrian. Adrian,
How
be
does
a
that
good
sound to you,
sport.
Shauna? An easy single, an easy single wrapped around one or two Maltesers.
No way.
No.
No.
I think yours was weirder.
Yeah, seriously,
butter
get
and
out of
apple.
the studio, Darren.
Each
Who
to their
invited
own.
you even in here? Thanks, Shauna.
All right, thanks. Bye.
6797 981 is our telephone number. Text or WhatsApp us 0877 98 98 98 with your weird food combo. Darren or Aaron, what does your dad do?
My dad puts red sauce on a curry.
Oh, God.
Your dad ought to be put down.
Oh no, it's disgraceful. It's absolutely disgusting.
What a
He
horrible man.
puts tomato ketchup into a curry.
Yeah.
Oh.
He sprays it all over the top. When he's got the Chinese on the plate, he puts red sauce all over it.
Now, I can understand him perhaps. Now, I'm not in favour of this, but I could perhaps understand him putting a brown sauce into a curry, but not red sauce.
I know, brown
Yeah,
sauce, it's all weird. It's the wrong flavour. It's just, you just mess with the flavour. You can't do it.
Yeah,
It's not right.
it is a bit odd. But yeah, have you ever tasted it, Aaron?
No, not myself.
No, I
it's not
don't.
for
I don't
me.
blame you. It sounds manky.
No, avoid that. Avoid that.
Jody, you do what?
I don't. My sister-in-law, who I hope is listening, eats cold beans.
Like Heinz beans?
Yeah, out of the tin.
Oh,
Well, Jody, I have
does she
to put
live
my,
under a bridge?
Jody, I have to put my hands up and say I do the same thing myself.
You sicko.
I do.
What's wrong with you?
You know the little snap pots.
Oh, no.
Yeah, do you know them? That you're meant to just put in the microwave for a minute. I came home from work only a couple of weeks ago. Was a little bit peckish. I just took one. I didn't bother heating it up and just.
You know, Adrian Kennedy's in the doghouse when he's eating cold beans. There's no one to cook, so he.
That's funny. I eat cold beans every day. No, but actually, it's actually quite nice.
No.
The
You
only-
ever heard of winkles on bread?
Oh, winkles are disgusting things.
What are winkles?
Snails of the sea.
Yeah,
People
that's
go out
what
and
they are.
pick them, and then they get a little pin, and then it's horrible. It's like eating snots. It's terrible. It's a Dublin thing, Adrian. Dublin
Yeah,
thing.
a friend of mine's sister eats them on bread, and she also eats Meanies crisps on bread.
Might think about that one. Meanies?
Yeah,
Meanies are a
Meanies
great
crisp.
crisp.
I love
Yeah,
meanies.
they're lovely, yeah.
Hang on, I love meanies. I love bread, but they're not meant to go together.
No, hold on.
The furthest
Let's
I
not
could
rule
go.
that one out.
I know the furthest I could go is a packet of crisps on bread. Yeah, I'll go for that.
I'll tell you the
Okay.
noisiest thing, Jamie. The noisiest thing is a packet of King crisps, a dairy milk, and a cup of tea, and you have to eat the crisps and the dairy milk at the same time.
Well, no, I know. I love nothing more than dairy milk with a pint of milk. Yeah, with milk. I just
Throw
love.
in a packet of King. Also, the King and the dairy milk going together is
No, that
top
sounds
notch.
disgusting. No. Sorry, Jody. No.
I've just showed Adrian Kennedy a picture of a Winkle.
That is, and what people put them on bread.
Yeah.
On bread. That is
Ugh.
It does look like a snot, doesn't it?
bread.
And like,
Yeah.
do you squash them like you would with sardines, or what do you do?
No, you just put them on.
You boil them for a few hours.
You boil
and
them
then-
alive as well, which is a bit...
Yeah, alive,
grim.
yeah.
Right, lads, I'm not feeling too good now. Thanks, Jody. Carla, what's your weird food combo?
A chicken fillet roll with egg mayonnaise and sweet chili sauce.
But they're just not meant to go together.
They shouldn't, but they totally do. or potato salad, one or the other, but both of them.
I have to say I love potato salad, but not with sweet chili sauce.
Oh, it's amazing.
Couldn't do it.
And it has to be a plain chicken fillet, though.
Not a spicy chicken fillet.
No, no.
No. Okay, thanks.
This is making me feel a bit
It
queasy.
is making me feel a bit queasy as well.
Pineapple on pizza, those people are scum.
Yes, anybody who has pineapple on their pizza, you ought to. You're not a real person.
Disgusting human being.
You are vile. Mark,
How are you getting on?
go on, Mark. What have you got for me?
Pickled gherkins dipped in honey.
Mark, you've lost it, pal. You have lost the run of yourself.
Gherkins.
Absolutely beautiful.
Well,
Yeah,
firstly, no. I'm sorry. Anybody who eats a gherkin is an animal.
Sicko.
You really are. You're vile. But to dip it into honey is just.
It's still a gherkin no matter what way you flavour it. It's still a big pile of stinking ugh.
Like I wouldn't be the best eater. I might be known from time to time to pop into McDonald's, and I don't know what are they doing putting gherkins on their burgers.
It's disgusting.
They've no place.
You know what's apparently good at McDonald's? I've seen people do it a few times, and I look at it, and the first time I was very judgmental. I thought, scum. But the more I see it, people dipping the chips into the ice cream. They look pretty happy.
Ah, yeah, you should try it, lads.
No,
knock it.
No. Sorry. And one last one. Kevin, you're on 98 FM. How are you, Kevin?
Hi lads, how's it going?
Kevin, what's your weird food combo?
It's not me now. It's the brother. He makes toast, puts butter, and puts a lot of ketchup on it, and dips it into his tea.
He's lost the run of himself. That sounds like a student diet.
Bread with ketchup.
Yeah, with butter as well, and dips it into his tea.
Now, I have to tell you, when I was a young fella, many moons ago, I loved nothing more than ketchup on bread with butter. Yeah, but no. But
cold beans Kennedy strikes again.
Yeah, cold beans Kennedy. Yeah, but dipping it into tea. No. I draw the line at the tea bit. Would you ever eat cold beans, Kevin?
Never.
What's wrong with you people? There's something wrong with you.
Adrian, cold beans is the saddest meal a man can have.
No. Cold beans out of a little snack pot.
There is a smell of desperation off your cold beans. It is the worst possible thing.
Tomorrow I'm going to bring a little snap pot. Yep.
Of your cold beans.
And a plastic spoon.
Oh.
And I'm going to eat them on the bus coming into work.
Someone will think that you've gone bankrupt or something or been sacked.
What is the difference? If I got on the bus and I had a packet of Tato, you wouldn't think twice.
Next week it'll be Adrian Kennedy's fall from grace on the paper.
If I got onto a bus and I ate a tub of ice cream, you wouldn't look twice at me. So why would you look twice at me if I get on the bus and I eat a tub of cold beans?
Because you're not meant to eat cold beans. The same way you can't eat cold beans.
Sorry, is there anybody else with me on this? Cold beans rock.
Well, I can't see one text with you, Adrian, so I think you're on your own on this one. I don't know if I should say it because I'll probably be in the doghouse when I get home, but my girlfriend used to have no money as a student and didn't really know how to cook. So she would make pasta, but she wouldn't buy the ragu sauce, so she just lather a load of ketchup on it and have pasta-y ketchup. I'm thinking, no, not good.
Really?
No, it's fine. She put it all in a big saucepan, put half a bottle of ketchup in, and that was a meal.
We'd loads of other stories, but I'm afraid time is rapidly running out on us. What other story had you got there? Oh, your embarrassing things that happened to you on holidays.
Yeah,
we'll keep it till tomorrow. And in fact, we've loads. But people, the amount of messages we're getting, people with just vile, Oh, sorry. Hang on. Look at that. That WhatsApp.
Cold beans rock. Show me the picture of that person. I just want to see if they're desperate too. Are they desperate?
No, I'm sorry. Cold beans rock.
Show me the person. Let's no.
Sorry. Look.
They look desperate.
Cold beans do rock, and let's have a look at that person. Oh, that's that person's photograph.
They're the kind of people that like cold beans, Adrian.
I'm sorry.
They're the kind of people that eat
Darren, we're going to have to agree to disagree. Cold beans rock.
Yes, I agree that you're completely wrong.
No, look. There's loads of messages coming in now from people saying that they love cold beans.
There's loads of messages coming in saying that you're a sick freak as well, though. You have to balance it here, Adrian.
Here's a message. Nothing wrong with cold beans. I eat them all the time. Tell Adrian, yeah.
Show me that message.
There.
Is that a legit message?
Yes, it is. Okay, smart arse. There is nothing wrong with cold beans are lovely. So tomorrow, on the number 83 bus when I'm coming into work, I am going to have my breakfast on the bus, which is going to be a tub of cold beans.
Are you going to sample the Easy Single and the Malteser? Just once. Just to try it once in your life.
No.
It could be your dessert after your cold beans. It can be your treat for getting here.
The amount of messages actually coming in saying cold beans are amazing. So there you are. You're wrong. Yeah. This is 98 FM's Dublin Talks. I'm Adrian Kennedy. We're here till midday today. On the way in just a moment, we're going to hear a horrific story about a rat. Don't go away. Good morning, Dublin. It is Thursday morning. I'm Adrian Kennedy, and this is 98 FM. Now, we spotted this on Facebook today, and are about to speak to the Dublin mother who wrote it. I want you to have a listen to this. So today, my 14-year-old was standing on the balcony outside our hall door, and this rat decided to bite her. This is after months of the problem being reported to Dublin City Council and nothing being done about the problem. I had the pest control out last year for the same problem and only reported it again to DCC, Dublin City Council, 4 months ago. Again, they sent pest control out and still waiting on something to be done. These rats are so brazen. They just run along the balcony in broad daylight, even when you're standing there, and now they're attacking kids. That sounds like an absolute nightmare, Adele.
It is, Adrian. And this is like, that wasn't even the biggest rat. Like, there is bigger ones that you could put collars and leads on them. And Dublin City Council did send out pest control, and the last fella that came out, he told me to cut a hole out of the board and put barbed wire up it. And hopefully that should prevent them from coming out. But
okay, so tell me, you live in Matt Talbot Court, which is in Dublin 1. Okay, yeah. Now, when did you first notice a rat problem around the flats?
Oh, Jesus. The rat problems around the flat now, I would have noticed them then. We would have seen the odd one, probably one or two, about 4 years ago. We reported it then, but it'd be like just the one or two that we'd see, but it'd only come out at night time. But now they're starting to come out, and today last year when we rang Dublin City Council and they had the pest patrol out, that's because they were coming. There was more of them coming out. You know, they were coming out in the day, they were coming out onto the bank, sitting at the stairs and literally like just not moving. Mm. So that's when the issue would have been really bad then, would have been last year when we contacted them. But it would have been about 4 years ago when we would have seen the force rat. But as I said, I used to only come out in the night time. But I don't know, I think that they've multiplied and they've had babies and they're all starting to come out now then.
So you can literally, I mean, if you're just sitting or standing outside your flat, can you see them walking around? Like they've become that brazen?
Yeah, they're that brazen. No, it actually, when you're coming up the stairs along the bank, they're sitting there waiting on you and they don't move. Like, you know, even if you go to get them a fry or you from the bag, they're not moving. So that's how brazen they're actually getting.
Now, I've once in my life had a rat in our house a couple of years ago, and I have to say I was terrified of him. And I'm a grown adult. Tell me what happened to your 14-year-old.
I was after coming home yesterday, and I rang her to just say that I was on my way up to knock on the kettle. So she came out on the bank to see how far I was, and she was just standing there, just dancing, as she normally does, just normal dancing inside the hall door. And as she was standing there, she felt something on her foot, so she looked down, and she seen then that it was a rat, so she went to lift her foot, you know, to get away from the rat. Mm. And that's when he bit her, but in fright, she kind of kicked her foot when he was locked onto her. And that's when she ended up...
he actually locked onto her?
He bit her foot, yeah, he was on her foot, on the front part of her foot. He was stuck onto her foot, and she swung her foot then, and she kind of kicked it towards the wall, and the rat ended up letting go. That's how she ended up killing it then. Now, how she even done that, I don't know, but I said she must have been in that much shock. And then she just screamed down the whole balcony then. There was neighbours and all then. But that was that was broad daylight.
As I said, I find rats just, I'm terrified of them. We had one trapped in our house once and I couldn't get rid of him, and I was screaming like a girl. Your daughter must have been in bits after that, and she is traumatised over it. She
is, Adrian, and the thing now, the worry now is the flat that I'm living in, I'm right beside the border where all the pipes are, where all the rats is all getting access to. And she had always been afraid of them because she could hear them, you know, in the bathroom and all, she could hear them, but they were in the wall. But now to actually have the rat now, to be out on the balcony and to have biting her, she's terrified to even come in on the balcony. Like even there last night and all, like waking up the whole night, kept thinking that there was rats all in her room and everything. You know, like, so I'm worrying now that is it going to have a bigger impact now on her? Not only did the bite, like, is it going to have a bigger impact on her? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, being afraid to come into your own hall door, like. And then not only that, then I have a 2-year-old daughter as well that sits on that balcony playing rat toys.
And you're obviously a little bit afraid to let her out.
Well, that's the thing now. When we come home from the hospital yesterday, it was a battle to get her into the flat. You know, to get her back up onto the balcony. It was a battle to get her back up onto the balcony. But we did get her in because I had to collect my 2-year-old daughter off a neighbour. So I had to get her up. But she's refused. She said she's not coming back, that she's going to go down and she's going to live with my sister, which is down the road. Like, she said she's not coming back because she's terrified if another rat being there, especially like as it being broad daylight, like she's afraid of her life where the rat had bit her. You know, like, so like it's kind of, although it was the rat that bit her, it's kind of becoming a bigger now problem. You know, like
people. You've been on to Dublin City Council. You're saying that they haven't dealt with it properly. I mean, some people are saying she should live with it. Maintenance of the property is her problem. Well, it's not when it comes to...
the maintenance of the property is her problem, but not the rats.
No, but like the balcony areas and all that, they're public areas, aren't they? Yeah. So they're not your responsibility.
No, the pipes that's going up the block of the flats, they're not my responsibility neither.
Yes, inside your front door maybe, but not...
exactly.
So people who are texting in text like that, you couldn't be further from the truth. It is not her responsibility to look after the entire flats complex. Yes, maybe inside her own front door, but that should be as far as it goes.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I know people, like, will have all their own opinions and all, like, but I mean, if I was after going out and I was after inviting these rats in, would then be my responsibility.
Yes, of course.
You know, like, but I haven't, like, unfortunately, I have to live with them. You know, along with everybody else that's along the banking has to live with them. But where my home is, I'm right beside the actual access of where they're getting in and they're getting out. You know, and I have said that to Dublin City Council. Pest Patrol is coming to put in barbed wire into it.
Stay there for 1 second, because John, I just addressed the fact that you're saying that it's her own problem.
Absolutely.
How is it her own problem when it's outside of her flat?
Because because it's still technically on the property.
It's no. Hang on for 1 second. If you live in a private apartment complex, there is a shared area, a communal area that is looked after by the management company or whatever. It is not looked after by individuals.
I don't know. Personally, I think it's her problem. You know, it doesn't matter anyway.
But Johnny, you saying that it's my problem because the rats are actually living in the flat?
Absolutely.
So it's my problem.
And bon appetit. Absolutely.
John, I think you've had a little one too many first thing in the morning, because, I mean, the rat problem isn't my problem. They're coming from the shores and the sewers. What do you want me to do now? Take over the shores and the sewers? I pay rent to Dublin City Council to live in a property where I should be safe and my children should be safe to be able to walk in and walk out of. I'm not paying rent to look after sewers. That's Dublin City Council's job.
And that is a fact. Well, he's gone off the line, but that is the fact. So, when was the last time you were in contact with the council?
It would have been around, say, between 3 and 4 months ago. Now, I have on regular occasions, like when I've spoken to a Dublin City Council member, and whether it being in the street, whether I've come back from work, and I've mentioned the problem to him. But where we actually rang up would have been 4 months ago. But again, they just sent out a pest patrol, and he came out and he done his job. He put down the poison, and he said the best thing to do is to put down barbed wire, cut out a hole and put in barbed wire. Like, I mean...
But my question is, what else can they, or do you expect them to do?
Well, even if they were to come out, see, the board that's at the side of the flats, the side of my hall door, is where all the water pipes is, all the water supply going into all the other complex. And that's where the rats are getting the access in and out of. Now, they could easily take off that board and get up to find out where the nest of it is, which is probably up near the roof or down on the bottom, find out where the nest is. And even maybe get in there and then put the poison even in there. And exterminate them. They need to exterminate these, not keep feeding them rat poison, because they're clearly eating it and moving on.
We have a photograph up on our Facebook page of the dead rat. How did you kill the rat?
Well, that's what I said. I think the child, she was in shock when the rat was after biting her, because like she's terrified of a spider. But when the rat was after biting her and it was on her foot and she swung her foot, I think it was in shock when she screamed. She actually stood on his stomach and just kept stamping on him. That was the way she killed that rat.
My God.
And now I couldn't believe that she was even able to do that. You know, normally someone would run, but as I said, where the rat had burrow was preventing her from even being able to get back in the front door. You know, so she had no other choice. So it's kind of fight or flight, isn't it? So that's exactly what she done then.
Somebody else suggested as a simple solution, and it may seem over-simplistic as a solution, to get a cat or get 2 cats and let them roam around.
You know what's actually funny, Adrian? Right? There's a lot of wild tomcats roaming around the area. There's even a hawk that's living around the area that comes down in the morning to feed in the back of the flats. You know, so we have a hawk, we have rats, we have cats. Nothing seems to be getting rid of them. Like, I mean, the hawk flies around during the early morning, say the rising sun. He flies into the back of the flats. He's catching most of the rats out the back. You know, and then we have wild cats that's going around. So obviously they're coming out to feed as well, but they're still not getting rid of the problem. And someone else had suggested to get a farrow, to just send a farrow up. A farrow will get rid of them. You know, or pour farrow droppings in. Like, I've even went into pet shops, I've got farrow droppings. You know, I've tried everything and anything, like, until the matter is resolved. But, I mean, like, although that was after happening to my child yesterday, which, as I said, I hope it doesn't have a big impact on her life. You know, like with being afraid to come into home. Like, I don't want my children being split up, not being able to come back home to me because she's terrified of this problem, which, I mean, like, is going to be traumatic on her because she's still talking about it. And
I don't blame her. I don't blame her. It has to have been like awful.
Last night, refusing to come in, like, and refusing to even sleep, like, in the whole night. Then I spent in there with her, like, because she was waking up. She was having, like, she had a nightmare. She thought that there was rats running around her.
And I have to say, I'm getting some nasty texts in, and what I would say to each and every one of you sending in those nasty texts: how would you feel if you got bitten by a bloody rat, or your child got bitten by a rat? I had one run in with a rat in our house, and it terrified the shit out of me, and I'll be honest with you, it really did. And don't tell me any of you are sending in those texts that you wouldn't be terrified of a rat yourself. Like, seriously. Adele has every right to be complaining about this. Paul, you have an idea, which is?
Why don't they get together as a community, Adrian, and refuse to pay their rents? I'm sure DCC will stand up then and do something.
Paul, we have that is a good idea, and we have suggested that. And what we have been told then back by Dublin City Council was that if we refuse to pay your rent, we were refusing to actually live in the property, like that they can end up taking consequences on us.
Yeah, well, the consequences are already there. That your dog has been bitten by a rat,
exactly,
and by refusing to pay your rent, you're all you're trying to do as a whole community is make your living area safer, and DCC have a responsibility to provide you with a safe environment to live in, which obviously they're not doing.
Yeah.
Well, the council are aware of this problem. Hopefully, they don't want obviously anybody else to be bitten by a rat. Nobody wants anybody to be bitten by a rat.
There is an old remedy that I heard years ago from a farmer. It's a bit disgusting, but if you catch a female rat and cut its stomach open and hang it by the tail, that any rats in the area will clear out.
Really?
But well, apparently,
it sounds grotesque, but if it works, it works.
I don't know whether it's true or not, but apparently this is how they used to clear the chicken coops and fires of rats. They'd catch a female and cut it open. And another thing about rats, that, like as Adele was saying, they seem to be immune. If a pregnant rat eats the poison and has its litter as such, the litter is immune to the poison that killed the mother.
Oh.
Yeah, well, I never knew that actually. Because I was wondering, they have came out and put down the poison, but it just didn't seem to be getting rid of them. They seemed to have been coming back. You know that blue dye poison?
Yeah.
That's which one they were putting down, but it didn't seem to be getting rid of them.
I'm not claiming to be an expert, but apparently this is true.
Well, stay there for 1 second, because Kieran, you're offering to help here, are you?
Yeah, I'd help her, no problem at all.
What can you do?
Use live traps.
Use live traps?
Yeah, of course. Easiest trap of them all. Simple to catch them.
And would you be prepared to go down to the flats to do it for them?
Well, I live in County Meath, so I'd have to get a lift up, that kind of way.
Okay, well, leave that with us, Kieran, and we'll see what we can arrange, yeah? Because it's
no problem at all.
It sounds like they're at the end of their tether. Adele,
yes?
It's an awful story. It has me cringing just at the thoughts of it, because I wouldn't be a fan of rats at the best of times. But look, I hope something gets done now that this has been, you've highlighted it on social media, a lot of people talking about it. That's where we spotted the story in the first place. And let's hope that Dublin City Council jump on this, or you get it sorted out sooner rather than later. All right, Adele?
Yeah.
Thanks very much.
And thanks very much, Adrian, for taking this onto your show as well. Like as I said, like there is younger children playing on that bank. Like there an hour before that, my 2-year-old was sitting on that bank. And like, what if I was her and had seen the rat, and the rat had jumped for her? She wouldn't have had the mentality to get away from the rat.
Mm.
Do you know
Absolutely,
what I mean?
I agree. Yeah, it is scary.
And then there is now, even though now Robin now has been bit, like she's a 10-day course like now to finish off, and she still has to make sure that she gets no infections from it. Like, because although these people are criticising that, texting in, and wherever, maybe they're not living on a day-to-day basis with rats. But I mean, like, there is, like, diseases and infections that she can get, so she's still not actually out of the woods yet, as in such.
Well, I can imagine she's going to have nightmares over what happened to her.
Well, this is it, Adrian, and the main priority is that I don't want my daughter to be
traumatised as a result of it. Yeah, absolutely.
And traumatised.
Well, look, I wish you well, and I hope the word filters through to the right departments that this is being talked about, and that it gets sorted out sooner rather than later. Nice to talk to you, Adele, and the best luck to your daughter as well.
Thanks very much,
Thanks
Adrian.
very much indeed.
Have a nice day. Take care, bye-bye.
This is 98 FM's Dublin Talks. I'm Adrian Kennedy. We're here until midday today. Yesterday on the programme, we got cut short in our prime when we were about to get stuck into a conversation all to do with wolf whistling and if it amounted to sexual harassment. Well, we brought up the topic as a result of Councillor Gary Gannon's comments, having done a study. Well, the City Council did a study. He claims that women in Dublin even avoid certain areas due to the whistling and comments that they get from men, and that wolf whistling should be made illegal. Here are some extracts out of yesterday's programme.
I think the figures are very stark. In Ireland, 52% of women avoid certain places for fear of being harassed or violently abused on our streets. There's a problem there that needs to be addressed. It's not only about wolf whistling, there's about lewd comments, it's about leering, it's about sexual comments to women of many age. It's about different demographics and minority groups experiencing this form of harassment in different ways. It's quite clear, all the evidence suggests that there is a problem of gender-based sexual harassment on our streets. We're the second highest in the EU reporting women who have avoided places for fear of being harassed or violently abused on the streets.
Do you believe it should be illegal for a man to at a woman as she walks down the street?
Yes, absolutely. Again, if it's making somebody feel genuinely uncomfortable, if it's making somebody have a different experience in terms of how they engage with their city, of course it should be. If somebody considers it a form of harassment, yes, definitely.
Now, Noelle, this happened to you?
It did, Adrian, it did, and I was disgusted. I think it's absolutely appalling that men get away with this treatment, objectifying women. I was walking down the road and subject to this vile behaviour of wolf whistling. From a building site, I reported to the guards and to the site manager, who didn't seem to take me seriously until I said that I wanted the guards involved.
I think in this world, stuff happens. I don't see an epidemic of women being harassed with wolf whistling. If she goes walking down the street in a pair of high heels and a mini skirt and a boob tube and walks past the building site and she give and take, like...
You are a wolf whistler. Right. Now, that is objectifying women. That is making sexualised objects of them, and it should be illegal.
This wolf whistling has been going on for hundreds of years.
Doesn't make it right. Doesn't make it right.
Would you go away out of that? And that other mad joke that you have on the line, that hates her husband, won't let him out of her sight. But she's just a man hater. She is mad.
Okay. Well, now, there you go, Noel. He has daughters, he has a wife, and he sees absolutely nothing wrong in lads whistling.
He may have a daughter and a wife. He has a total lack of respect for ladies.
Okay, that's from yesterday's Dublin Talks. And I'd love to hear from you on this on 6797981. You can text or WhatsApp us 0877 98 98 98. I especially want to hear from ladies. Maybe you agree with what Noel said, that it is intimidating and it should be illegal and it is a form of sexual harassment. Call me right now on 6797 981.
This is 98 FM's Dublin Talks with Adrian Kennedy.
Should wolf whistling be illegal? That's what we're talking about, and I'd love to hear from you on 6797 981. You can text or WhatsApp the programme 0877 98 98 98. I'm surprised, I have to be honest, by the amount of you who don't see the problem here. Calling that councillor that we spoke to, Councillor Gary Gannon, calling him a bit of a snowflake. But there have to be people who have a problem with this. That lady Noel yesterday had a huge problem with it. Mick, you're annoyed over this as well, are you?
I just think it's a bit of banter, really. I don't see the problem. Women do it to blokes as well.
They don't do it that often, though, do they?
Yeah, well, I was actually talking about the yesterday's show to my wife last night, and she actually said, well, girls do it as well, especially in the heart when certain people have their tops off and they're showing a six pack and a nice physique and all that. That's going to happen there as well. And as for that, hand-roll counsellor yesterday, because I think he's out of his nut, really. Call this bit criminalised because I think the guys probably do it as well.
You think the girls do as well?
No, I think the old guy will probably do it as well. If he sees some girl dressed up as a total dirtbird and all that, yeah, of course they're going to do it.
Yeah, maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm bet down, but it's never happened to me now, I have to say. So
no, but guys like Rob Lips, obviously, they probably would do it like that way, if you know what I mean. But no, I just think it's a bit of banter, really. And I think that Noel as well. She's just a man hating ham roll, if you ask me.
In fact, I'm after getting her back on the line. Noel, you're a bit of a man hater, and I have to tell you, Noel, as a follow up. The amount of people contacting us to say that there is no big deal here, that councillor is a snowflake and there is nothing wrong in a bit of banter.
Hi, Adrian. Good morning.
Good morning.
Now, Adrian, I've just listened to that specimen on the phone, and he's quite typical of, this generation of...
Okay, I get you, Mick. Sorry.
When you got to call the guards on me now. Juvenile behaviour,
You got to call the guards on me, you ham roll.
Michael, is it?
His name is Mick,
no,
yes.
It's Mick, actually, not Michael.
Michael, anyway, let me get my point across, please. You're just rude, and if you're going to occupy the line with your juvenile behaviour, what's the point in speaking?
Okay, Mick, let her speak. Anyway,
Michael, you sound
go
like
on.
an older man, and that's the problem here. You have a generation thing here where people like him think that this is acceptable because he was brought up with, plastering page 3 women and that on, on the wall. And there's a little part of me that worries about people like him.
I don't actually read the Sun, so I wouldn't be watching page 3 anyway, because I don't read the Sun anyway.
You sound like a predator. You really do. It's frightening that people
Mick, will you calm down there, because you're actually making yourself sound like a predator now, I have to say. Noelle, the bottom line from a lot of people who have contacted us is, it is just a bit of banter, get over yourself.
It is not banter to sexually harass a lady, Adrian. And I'm tired of listening to this point and subject being, it's just brushed over and made acceptable and a laughing stock. It is not a laughing stock.
It is not a laughing stock.
No.
This is the councillor who raised it believes it is a very serious issue, that a lot of women feel very intimidated when they go out, if they get whistled at or whatever. You don't see it as a compliment. You see it genuinely as sexual harassment.
I genuinely do, Adrian. I have personally crossed the street to avoid, workmen congregated in places, to avoid that type of behaviour. It's juvenile, it's embarrassing, and any man worth his salt would not have to resort to juvenile behaviour. It's ridiculous.
Okay, Mick, it is juvenile behaviour to whistle at a woman.
I'm trying not to laugh here.
No.
You've no self-respect, Michael. None at all.
Listen here, my name is Mick, not Michael.
Were you christened? Sorry, were you christened Mick?
Yeah, I was actually. So
no, I doubt it very, very much.
Yeah, well, you call me
you're the type of a man. I'll call you Michael.
You're just actually a better man hater and all that. Like you probably don't get more whistled and all that.
Hang on, both of you, for 1 second. I want to find out whether or not Noelle is alone here, okay? This particular councillor that we spoke to on the show, Councillor Gary Gannon, has called for laws to be brought in to make it illegal. And by the way, he didn't just speak on this radio show yesterday. He actually spoke on a number of radio programmes on different radio stations yesterday about the exact same thing. He's really got a thing for this subject, and he wants a ban. So in all seriousness, Mick, if women find it intimidating and find it sexual harassment, surely it should be made illegal.
No, I don't. I honestly think it's just a bit of banter. Like I say, some women want to dress provocatively and all that. Like, yeah, that's going to happen. You know what I mean? But it's just bad. To me, it goes. This is common part and parcel of what.
Okay, so it's just normal.
No, it has not, Adrian.
Yes,
sorry, if I may interrupt there. What's happening there is the likes of Mick is normalising this behaviour because it excuses his behaviour.
Okay, well, hang on. We'll stay there for a second, because that's a man and this is a woman. Donna, you're on 98 FM. How are you, Donna?
Hi, how are you?
Donna, I want you to imagine this situation, okay? You're walking on your way to work or walking to the bus stop or whatever, and there's a building site, and there's a fella on a building site with his hard hat on, and he goes at you. How's that going to make you feel?
Honestly, it has happened, and I take it as a compliment every single time.
Every single time you take it as a compliment?
Every single time. I was a person who grew up with very, very low confidence in myself, and it was due to people that I was around. And then when I started getting wolf whistles, I was like, well, maybe there is something. So, it does make me feel a little bit more attractive.
Well, now, there you go, Noelle. It puts a spring in her step.
I genuinely, Adrian, actually feel sorry for ladies like Donna who rely on,
No, I don't rely on it, love.
Your ego is robbed by, a stranger, with, the mentality of a houseplant.
Hang on. There's engineers on those sites. There's engineers, there's architects. There's not just
you won't
labourers
find an engineer or an architect. You will not find intelligent people wolf whistling as ladies.
I guarantee you would.
You won't. No, you will not.
Sorry, Noelle, is it not a thing that a red-blooded male does when he sees an attractive woman?
No, it's not. And if I am a red-blooded female, would I have the right to subject you to such violations? No, I would not.
Me personally, it wouldn't bother me. And I know. I'm sorry. I know most men wouldn't be bothered by being whistled at. Not in the slightest.
You need to examine, and that lady needs
country.
to examine her own, her self-awareness. That she
my self-awareness is fine.
You
love.
take
I've
a
been married the last
compliment
12
from
years.
you take a complete stranger whistling at you as a compliment. That's an embarrassment to women.
Why would it be an
I'm
embarrassment?
ashamed
if
for
someone
you.
finds me attractive, why would it be an embarrassment for me?
I mean, honestly, Noelle, Noelle, you did say that you reported somebody for sexual harassment for whistling at you.
It's like sexual harassment. You're coming over and, you're constantly doing it. But to whistle at someone walking down the street, I mean, come on. It's
You're
going to get to the stage in this country where
you're
councillors are going to go,
minimising
you can't say hello to people because, that could be a form of sexual harassment.
No,
Come on.
you're minimising a violation
Nobody's minimising
of a person.
it.
Yes,
It's
you
not
are.
a violation.
Yes, you are.
Everyone has an entitlement
Well,
in this
I
country
felt
to do what they want.
violated, and I know several women.
And that's
who
the word
feel
you would
violated.
use. You felt violated.
Absolutely, Adrian.
Did this person who whistled at you, did they physically invade your space? Did they touch you? No.
Adrian, sorry. If I may, Adrian, if I may make a point, please, okay? We all are aware, of bullying and harassment. No one has to be violated just by a physical act, an action, words, etc., can have a really, really bad impact on a person. So let's not minimise the power of someone's actions just because they don't physically
hang on.
touch.
If you're saying that could have a really, really bad impact on a person, someone whistling at you, deeming that you're attractive, is going to make you feel bad about yourself. Seriously?
I do not need, I'm sorry, I have more confidence in myself,
do you actually
Donna,
listen to what you're saying?
I mean, yes, I did. Yes, I did. I hear what you're saying.
And it grew over a period of time of going to counsellors because I was sexually abused when I was a child. And, I would call that a violation. I wouldn't call someone whistling at me a violation.
And that's your interpretation because of your low ego.
But Donna, it would appear that there are many who do see it as a violation.
Well, then they need to go and look at their confidence, because if they're finding something wrong with somebody whistling at them, tell them that's a compliment. You're attractive. I'm whistling at you. I like the way you look. I like what you're wearing. And they're saying that's that's violation. I'm sorry. I just find it very funny.
Stay there for 1 second. Hang on for 1 second. Mind you, what's interesting, Donna, is that it is firstly a male counsellor that is looking into this, based on
looking for votes.
No, but based on public meetings that he has held, where the feedback he's been getting is that a lot of women find this very threatening, I suppose, is the word.
Well, in fairness, I mean, I've been to a couple of public meetings and it's normally one person suggests something and everyone jumps on the bandwagon. You don't necessarily all feel the same.
Maybe you're right. Hang on there for 1 second. Paul, you're on 98 FM. How are you, Paul?
Good.
What did you want to say, Paul?
My argument's kind of irrelevant now. Your one's violated by a whistle, so,
That's how she feels, though.
I don't know what bubble she lived in. Come on.
Why do you think then, firstly, this has been made illegal, I think, in Nottingham in England. It is illegal for builders, site workers, whatever, to whistle at women as they walk past, because it is seen as objectifying women, as making sex objects of women, and they are not comfortable with it.
Where do you even start with that? That's a load of crap. It's not like you're jumping down off the scaffolding and chasing them down the road whistling. Come on.
No, and that obviously
a quick whistle and then they're gone out of sight and that whole incident is forgotten about. I guarantee you it's forgotten about by them builders.
You see, Noelle, the argument here is there is a big difference between violation and a whistle. Nobody is in any way condoning women being violated, and should they sit in the same category?
Okay, Adrian, may I ask then, if you see a case of somebody being bullied verbally in the workplace or at a school, would you see that as a violation of a person?
Yes, I would, if they're being bullied, yes.
Yes, so they haven't been touched physically.
Yes.
But, the verbal actions of another human has, intimidated them and violated them. Therefore, whistling is a violation.
Oh, sorry, are you there? Are you there, Noelle? Sorry, you just got cut off there.
Adrian, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yeah. So it is a violation, end of.
Of course it is, because, physical contact does not have to come into play where a violation is concerned. I felt violated. I felt, somewhat frightened and intimidated initially until anger took over and I walked into the site and demanded to speak to the foreman, who didn't take me seriously initially until I said, I actually want the guards here, because I felt he wasn't listening to me. I felt he was being as juvenile and, blasé about my feelings as his work colleagues were. So when I got the guards, then he took action. Then he took me seriously, and I shouldn't have had to do that. I should not be subject to that. All
right, okay, stay there for a second. And by the way, I'm not minimising this. This obviously was how you felt. This made you feel bad. This made you feel threatened or intimidated. But the amount of people who genuinely, and it's not just men, it is women as well, who genuinely don't see what the problem is here and believe that people like you are making a mountain out of a molehill. What do you say to those people?
Adrian, what I'm telling you is, it was off town, it was down a laneway where I was walking, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, initially, a wolf whistle at a lady kind of, signifies that, someone is aroused or whatever by what they're seeing, right? While I'm walking there alone, I don't know the reactions if someone becomes aroused. I felt unsafe. I felt, a million thoughts go through the head with a lady alone, in a relatively deserted area.
Okay,
so I don't know that's going to end with a whistle. And so the whistling has to stop that intimidation. I should not have to cross the
and
street.
that's what it is, intimidation.
Yes, I should not have to cross the street, to satisfy juvenile behaviour for men who, clearly have no respect for women.
Okay, stay there for a second. Where am I going? Louise.
Hey, how you doing?
Louise, there you go. There's a lady saying that this is intimidation. This is... she worries what might happen next. I mean, it does...
She wasn't that intimidated if she walked straight back into the building site to complain about them. For God's sake, that woman sounds very, very uptight. Noel, God help you. Yeah, a bit of crack. Men are visual. A wolf whistle means you're good looking. It doesn't mean, oi, ugly or oi, fat ass. I think you're getting confused.
I've no confusion whatsoever. What confuses me is, listening to women like yourself and Donna, entirely disregarding...
A bit of banter with the lads on the workplace.
It is not banter,
They're
and
not
you're obviously very easily pleased. You're obviously very easily pleased.
Sorry, Louise. Say that again, please. They're only giving you a compliment.
They're only giving you a compliment. I mean, it's not like they're screaming, oi, fat ass or oi, ugly.
But hang on, but Louise, they are treating... if a man on a building site is whistling at a woman, he is treating her as a sexual object, and that annoys a lot of women.
Ah, for God's sake. He likes what he sees and he's acknowledging it with a little nice noise and that's it. How could you be intimidated by a whistle? Now, well, I bet you those men were looking at you from a roof. You couldn't be that intimidated. They couldn't have chased you. And then you walked back into the site to complain.
Louise,
you weren't
I'm
intimidated
embarrassed for women like you. Why are you so easily pleased with a whistle?
How do you know
Why
I'm
is
easily pleased?
your
I'm
ego?
not trying to defend the men who are...
Your self-esteem is obviously
men
on the floor.
If
you're relying on strangers to whistle at you.
That's wedged up your ass, Noel.
Not at all.
Really
what you
and
need
truly,
to do is you need to understand
a nice little whistle walking down the road. What harm? And you called the guard. The guard should have arrested you for wasting their time.
Not at all.
But no. Hang on for 1 second, Louise. This is a very serious issue, so much so that people at public meetings have told this councillor that we were speaking to that it is, they feel threatened, they feel intimidated, and they want it illegal for men to do that. Now,
I just find that incredible. It's just, talk about, and that councillor, Geraghty, that's a waste of his payroll. There's much more important things going on in this city and in this country.
So you're not one of the people then that would ever complain about it?
I wolf whistle that often, and I turn around and I give them a shake of my booty.
Hang on there for a second. Dara was on the phone to us a moment ago. Dara, we took your phone number down wrong, and we know you had a very good point to make. If you want to ring Katie or Jamie back, please, on 6797 6797 If Dara's listening, can you ring us back? Pádraig, you're on 98 FM. How are you, Pádraig?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Pádraig. How are you getting on? Now, what did you want to say?
Well, basically, I have to compliment you for playing a blinder here, Adrian. This woman has to be a plant.
Has to be a
plant.
And what was the councillor a plant as well? Was he?
No, not the councillor.
The councillor was saying the exact same thing.
Well, no, the councillor actually. Well, it's typical, first of all, of these people with left-leaning tendency. I mean, this guy's got the Kinahan Hutch feud going on in in his area, plus obviously a homeless crisis, and all this guy is getting exercised by is a trivial matter like wolf whistling.
And as I said, he wasn't just on this programme. He's been on many radio programmes in the last 24 hours about this exact topic. He wants it illegal for people to wolf whistle. And that lady, Noelle, finds it intimidating when people wolf whistle at her.
Well, I'd say two things about probably this lady. She probably isn't very good in the looks department. Or she could have. Other people, listeners have said, she alluded to the fact that she is a man-hater. She couldn't possibly have lesbian tendencies. Who knows? I mean, but...
let me just explain. For example, I was just reading this earlier on. In the UK, wolf whistling at a woman can now be treated as a hate crime. Any offence where a woman is intimidated or targeted by a man can be classed as a crime by police in Nottinghamshire. Now, this is something I referred to already. This isn't pie-in-the-sky stuff, Pádraig. This is real.
Yes, it is real. It is we refer to as the snowflake generation. Everybody seems to get offended by everything.
Okay, but hang on. Nottinghamshire police say that they will expand the categories of hate crime to include misogynistic incidents. Now, really, whistling at a woman is kind of misogynistic, isn't it?
Well, most women, like the previous lady said, they would be highly complimented by wolf whistling. I've been in construction for over 30 years, and you don't hear it much anymore now, Adrian. Like back in the 80s, it was everywhere, really.
Ironically, Pádraig, I actually only heard it yesterday, just totally by coincidence, yesterday afternoon in the centre of town. But what surprises me, though, Pádraig, is that somebody who would have a problem with this, like Noelle, you would say, that has to be a plant because nobody could possibly think that way.
Obviously, this woman is, I wouldn't say she's not even from the Dark Ages. She obviously has a problem with men per se.
But you see, Pádraig, I know that people who object to wolf whistling would say you're in the Dark Ages.
No, I'm afraid. Look, everything now, everything is Islamophobic, everything is racist. You can't say anything anymore. Comedians you can't even, the nursery rhyme now, blah, blah, black sheep. By the way, you know that's been taken out, the word black?
Yes, I do. Okay, we're getting into a completely different conversation.
Yes, but it's a similar thing as snowflake. Everybody...
Okay, Noelle, you must be a plant because you object to being whistled at.
You know, Adrian, I've listened to this vile human several times on your show, with, spouting his racism, his hatred for women, while he speaks, in a horrible, horrible manner of every person. He seems to have an issue with everybody. Now, at the end of the day... Can I finish speaking, if you don't mind? Would that be okay with the archaic mind?
I thought Adrian was the chair of the show, not you.
I think Adrian would be happy to let me finish my point, and maybe then you might respond in an adult way if you can, for once. What I'm saying to you, Pádraig, is you have a wife, apparently. I've established that before listening in with you. And would you be happy for your wife to be whistled at? And if so, why do you think so little of women? Why? Your mother, your daughter, your sister. You're okay with that, with them being, sexualized and, oppressed in that way, and that they feel they can't walk where they feel like walking.
And that is how some women... But Noelle, what do you say to the fact that you are... And I've been reading through the text messages, I've been reading through the WhatsApp messages, and you are the only person, and I'd love to know where this councillor got these people complaining about this, because none of them listen to this show, women who object to being to wolf whistling. You are the only person that has rang in. What does that say to you?
It tells me, Adrian, obviously, that women feel too afraid to voice their concerns. And that's sad. It's horrible reflection on society, when they know that they're going to speak to the likes of Michael and Pádraig, with their archaic mindset. And, he's living back decades ago.
What do you think it says about other women? Other women who aren't ringing in to support you?
I'm embarrassed for them, Adrian. I'm embarrassed for, their lack of self-esteem and that they can't speak up for themselves. I'm one woman trying to make a point that concerns every woman, but
All right,
for those who, are easily pleased.
All right, Noel, it's been good to talk to you. Thanks very much indeed. This is 98 FM's Dublin Talks. I'm Adrian Kennedy. We're here until midday today. I want to read something that has come into us. Most of us have witnessed it. You're in the supermarket and the employees are having chats while you're standing there, except they're not even speaking English. Does it bother you? Do you find it rude? Well, this woman certainly does. We received this message on our Facebook page, which you can message to as well, facebook.com/Adrian K and Jeremy D. And here's what this person wrote to us. Hi, Adrian. I've just come back from doing my weekly shop and I am very pissed off, to say the least. I was in a German-owned supermarket, which have shops all over the country, and I am disgusted to say that while I was standing there paying for my goods, two of the employees were having the chats from across the tills. Now, don't get me wrong. I've no problem with people chatting. My problem is they were speaking in another language. I'm fairly sure it was Polish. My issue is that I find this unbelievably rude. They are non-nationals working in a country where English is our main language, so they should speak only English in the workplace. On the way out, I mentioned it to the manager, who said he would say it to them, but I'm still so annoyed. I even felt a little intimidated, as if they were talking about me. Has anyone else witnessed something like this? We'd love to hear from you on 6797981. How do you feel about this? These are foreign workers talking in their own language in the workplace. Should they be stopped from doing it? We'll take a quick break. We'll take your calls in just a moment. Morning, Dublin. Thursday morning. I'm Adrian Kennedy. This is 98 FM's Dublin Talks. Now, is this lady being paranoid, or has she a right to complain about staff in a supermarket speaking to each other in their own language? Having the bants, having the chats while they're at work. One of the German-owned supermarkets, you can work out which one of the two of them it was. But she says, I'm disgusted to say that while I was standing there paying for my goods, two of the employees were having the chats from across the tills. Don't get me wrong, I don't have a problem with people chatting. My problem is that they were speaking in another language. I think it was Polish. She thinks it was unbelievably rude. One of the first messages to come in was, that woman is totally paranoid. She's no problem with employees speaking English, so why not in their own language? You see, I think it's probably because we don't know what they're saying that some people find it a little bit rude. And in fact, Nolene, that's your point on this, that this was very rude.
Yes, I agree that it was very rude. They should have never been talking to each other while a customer was standing there. But I have no problem with them speaking their own language. It's a basic human right to be able to speak your own language with your colleagues if there's not a customer there.
Okay, but there was a customer there. And you see, an awful lot of people believe, particularly, I mean, what you do in your own time is your own business, obviously. What you do on your lunch break is your own business. But when it comes to working on a shop floor, you should only be speaking English.
No, I don't agree with that. I agree if there is a customer there, you don't speak, whether in English, Polish or whatever, you don't speak to another colleague, like having chats, because you're there for the customer and you should be serving the customer. But when they're on their own and if there are no customers around, they're entitled to speak their own language, for God's sake. I mean, it's, as I said, it's a basic human right to be able to speak your own language if there are no customers around. It's plain rude. I have been a victim of that in a shop in the airport, where I went in to buy some sunglasses, and the two girls, and there were two Irish girls, were having chats, and I put the glasses down, and they never broke their conversation. She never even asked me how much it was. She grabbed the money out of my hand, never said thank you, and basically threw the bag at me. Now, I did complain to their head office, and they said that they would get onto the shop about it, because it was actually rude. They are there to serve you. They should not be having conversations with their colleagues while you are standing there. When you go away and there isn't another customer there, it's fine. Speak whatever, have your chats, whatever. But once a customer is there, you that's what you're there for, to look after the customer and not to be chatting to your mates across the tills. It's just plain rude.
Right, but it's not something that you would like to see stopped? That staff, you can have rules for staff. Should it not be a rule that you cannot speak in your own language on the shop floor?
No, it shouldn't be, because, I mean, if there are no customers around, like, who cares what language you speak? You know, like, they're speaking to their colleagues, and obviously their colleagues are going to understand them better if they're speaking their own language. So it shouldn't be, like, a rule that they can only speak English while they're with their colleagues, but not while there's a customer there. They should not be chatting, even, whether in English or any other language. It's as bad as if you play any of the games on Facebook, when a person of their own, like they come in, a foreign person comes on and they speak in their own language, they type in their own language. And the Americans are the biggest culprits of this. They're the ones that say, oh, you should be only speaking English. Speak English. Don't speak your own language. You have to speak English. And they just cannot grasp the fact that it's an international website.
Okay, but do me a favour, stay there for 1 second. Let me bring in some more calls on this. Our telephone number is 6797981. Text or WhatsApp the programme 0877 98 98 98. 0877 98 98 98. I'd love to hear from you. Does this bother you? Should it be against the rules to speak in your own language on a shop floor, for example? Dylan, you're on 98 FM. How are you, Dylan?
Hey, Jeremy, how you doing?
Good, Dylan. What did you want to say on this?
At the last caller there, I'd like to disagree and agree with her. She is right in saying that if there's no customers around, that you can speak your own language.
Sorry, Dylan, I don't know what way you're talking into your phone, but it's all muffled. It's very hard to hear you.
Can you hear me now? The speaker's kind of messed up at the minute.
Oh, it's crap. But anyway, yeah, go on.
Yeah, I agree and I disagree. You can speak if there is no customers around you. If you're on your own and you're in a private area, again, with your own people, if you're speaking a different language, say, yeah? So say, if there is a customer beside you and you start speaking a different language, you're not going to make that person feel very, very uncomfortable. Would I not be right?
Yeah, you see, I do think it makes some people feel uncomfortable.
Put yourself in this situation. If me and my friend were standing over across me, two people, right, and we were speaking, say we were just whispering, same idea, because you don't know what we're saying. Would I not be right?
Yes, yeah. Okay, so you think that it should be restricted. Do you think it should be against the rules?
It's in the employee handbook. It is. Any employee, there's a handbook you get, right? Now, I'm not 100% on which one it is, but if you go into it, it does say that you have to speak the English language when you're in the workplace in this country. It's in the Irish law for...
no, I don't think it's in the Irish law. No, it's definitely not in the Irish law.
Some companies don't act on it. So they don't. I've been around, I worked on a site for 2 weeks.
Sorry, Dylan, I'm going to have to cut across you. You're going to have to invest in a new phone because it's just impossible to hear what you're saying. Mick, I'll take your call in just a moment, and I'd love to hear from you on 6797 981.
98 FM's Dublin Talks with Mattress Express at Des Kelly Interiors, Longmile Road. Because sleep shouldn't have to wait. 98 FM.
Morning, Dublin. Thursday morning. I'm Adrian. This is 98 FM's Dublin Talks. And now, is it rude for staff to speak their own language in a workplace here in Ireland? That's what we're asking, because we got contacted by one of our listeners called Hayley. She's a little bit annoyed over what happened to her in a German-owned supermarket yesterday. She says, I'm disgusted. I was standing there paying for my goods and two employees were having the chats from across the tills. Now, don't get me wrong. I have no problem with people chatting. My problem is they were speaking in another language, which I think was Polish. My issue is that I find this unbelievably rude. They are non-nationals working in a country where English is our main language, so they should speak only in English in the workplace. On the way out, I mentioned it to the manager who said he'd say it to them. Michaela, you're on 98 FM. How are you?
Hiya.
Now, you actually find this rude yourself?
Yeah, I found it rude myself in any languages. I'm a foreign myself, and I wouldn't speak in any in my language in front of English people, you know.
So what's your native language?
Spanish.
Spanish, okay.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't engage in the workplace, you wouldn't talk to somebody in Spanish?
No, because I wouldn't like to be in another country and somebody talking in another language, you know.
So what, okay, in this particular shop, they were talking whatever it was, these two staff members were talking Polish or whatever. They could have been talking about the couple of pints they went out for last night or whatever. It's none of that woman's business what they're talking about, really, is it?
No, it's not the business, but when the customer is there, you have to be there to respect the customer, you know. Because
In fact, somebody texted in a minute ago, how do I know they're not talking about me?
Yeah, but that could be a little bit paranoid sometimes as well.
That is a tad paranoid.
Like,
isn't it?
I find out myself in a lot of places when I'm with friends, and maybe I am on the phone or something. They're like, "Oh, what are you talking about? What are you saying?" And I just, my mom is calling me for whatever, But people sometimes feel a bit paranoid when we speak in our own language. That's the thing, But the thing about being in the shops in front of customers, I found a bit rude when they speak in other language, or even Irish people as well. Sometimes I go to a post office, they don't even look at me. Or I go to Don's, they don't even look at me, and they keep talking between staff in English, and which this I found rude as well.
Okay, so you do find it rude when staff talk in a language that you're not used to, well, English primarily here. Okay, stay there for 1 second. Tommy, you don't see what the big deal is here.
No, to me, that woman is just paranoid. I lived abroad for a number of years, and when we came across some people speaking in their own language, we speak in Irish.
But why do we do it, Tommy? We do it so that people, and all we're saying is rubbish like Pogue Mahone and whatever, but we're doing it so that people who don't speak Irish won't have a clue what we're talking about. And do it, and we sometimes do it to wind people up.
No. I was when I was younger fluent in Irish, and these people will soon realise that they are being ignorant by speaking in their own language, and they'd switch to English.
Yeah, but you see, I know in the past I have with friends, you're in Spain or whatever, start speaking in Irish. Just a couple of fuckle, just to wind people up, just so that they think we're talking about them.
No. Well, yeah, I do agree. Some people do that, all right. But these people were fluent in English, but chose to speak in Portuguese around us, and we'd speak in Irish, and they'd ask us to stop because they were being paranoid, and they admitted to being paranoid, and we'd stop, and they'd stop, and we'd both speak in English.
So what you're saying is that this is just paranoia. There's no need for people to be getting upset over this.
No. Why should they be meant to speak English? We live in Ireland. They should be meant to speak Irish of any language.
Well, okay, but let's be honest. Most of us, our main language,
is English. Unfortunately, and it's sad.
Yeah,
English,
I agree.
But it should be Irish.
Okay, but it's not. So shouldn't everybody then speak English in the workplace?
No, you speak your own native language, and that's it. As far as I'm concerned.
Even at work.
Even at work, yes. If you're talking to a customer, yes, you speak in English. But speaking to someone from your own country, I don't see the problem speaking in their own language.
Well, now there you go, Michaela. There's no problem with them speaking in their own language. She's gone. Okay, stay there for a second. Vimby, you're on 98 FM. How are you, Vimby?
I'm great. How are you, Adrian?
Good, thank you. Great to talk to you. Now, Vimby, you heard this message from this lady. She's very annoyed that staff members in her local German-owned supermarket were speaking in, she thinks, Polish, and she found it annoying.
Yes, Adrian. First of all, it's not a requirement to speak English in order to enter into Ireland. I'm a foreigner myself.
No, I understand that.
Exactly.
Certainly not to enter.
Thank you.
But it would be for many jobs.
For many, but not all of them. Sometimes you don't even need to speak English to be a cleaner. Who knows? Maybe the fellow, the other person that they were talking to. I mean, the two people that were talking in Polish or whichever language it was. Maybe they're even cleaners, for example, that were on the floor and they were talking. We don't even know that part. But the third thing is that, Adrian, she should just learn to mind her own business. I mean, if they're going to talk about her in Polish or in English, what does it matter? The conversation is not for her. It's about her, but it's not for her.
Okay, but let's imagine those staff members yesterday in Aldi or Lidl or wherever they were. Okay, and this lady's at the checkout, and these two staff members are having the chats, is what she described it, having a bit of banter between them.
Yeah.
For all she knows, they could be talking about her.
That's what I'm saying. What does it matter if they're talking about her in English or in Polish? The conversation is not for her. It's between the two of them, so she shouldn't eavesdrop. She should just mind her own business and get on with her business, get her groceries, and get out of the store.
But is it not extremely rude of staff to deliberately talk, because obviously these staff members, let's imagine they're both Polish, okay? They obviously have a command of English, otherwise they probably wouldn't even be working in the shop. They have to have a command of English to get those jobs. So there is no need for them to speak in their own language because they clearly speak English anyhow.
Have you noticed that some people do not speak fluent English, and maybe the person is trying to get their point across more clearly with their workmate, and they have to explain it in their own language for the other person to understand? Did it ever cross anybody's mind? I mean, I'm just saying, maybe to work in that German shop, you don't have to have fluent English. Maybe it's just enough for you to explain to a customer, to say hello and goodbye, and sorry and thank you and good day. You don't even know that. I'm just saying, this conversation they were having in Polish, it was not to that customer. It was between the two of them. Let them sort out their stuff. I mean, I'm not going to keep quiet or stop my sentence right in the middle just because somebody, I'm not even talking to that person, is just looking at me. I'm not going to stop.
But a lot of people believe that go to the staff canteen if you want to talk in Polish. If you are on the shop floor doing your job, you should be speaking in the language in which this country mostly speaks, which is English.
That's what I'm saying, Adrian. What if they were speaking Irish? I mean, would you say, okay, no, you can't speak Irish, but they're in Ireland, and Irish is Ireland's language. So that would be okay, right? I'm just saying, it shouldn't matter. It should not matter. It's nobody's business what those two are talking about. They could be talking about her. They could be talking about me. They could be talking about their job. It doesn't matter as long as they're not talking to me in a different language.
Here's a message that just came in a second ago, and it says, if a foreign person did this on me, I would be very annoyed. It is pig ignorant. I'm sick of these people thinking they can walk all over us. Speak the language that we speak.
That's a funny one, because you're not going to force the language of English into somebody. You're not. If they can't speak it, they can't. If they are required to only say thank you and good day at the job, there's no way they're going to explain anything else in English to a fellow colleague.
Okay,
you understand? I've been in several shops, and I ask a question and somebody can't explain it to me because they're foreign, they're Polish or something. They always have to get somebody else to come and explain to me. That's allowed in the workplace. They get somebody else to come and explain to me in English so I can understand, so I know what I'm trying to purchase. So I don't think that woman had any reason to even feel, unless she was eavesdropping, that's what, unless she wanted to know what they were talking about, then that's something else completely. But otherwise, she should have just minded her own business, buy her stuff and leave. That's it. And I know some of these German shops, I've been in there, even if they're not chatting between themselves, they don't even say hello or goodbye. It's only once. And I go to that shop.
So it's none of our business. Stay there for a second, because Steve, you worked in one of these supermarkets.
That's correct, yeah.
And what is the rule with regard to language?
You're not allowed to speak, you're only allowed to speak English.
On the shop floor?
And to the staff.
Oh, really?
Even in the canteen, but they never did. It was non-stop, all the time, Polish.
In the canteen? Strictly speaking, you're not meant to speak English or Polish, should I say, even in the canteen?
Yeah, you're not speaking English.
So within the workplace, be it the canteen or on the shop floor, you are only meant to converse in English?
That's correct, yeah.
Well, now, Vimby, that's fairly plain and simple.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess if they were breaking the rules, I didn't know it was a requirement, because in most of the times when we go to these shops, they're speaking a different language anyway, and it doesn't bother me because I don't care what they're talking about.
Okay, but some people do find it a little bit intimidating and rude, and apparently, certainly in at least one store that man worked in, they're not meant to be doing it. All right, look, thanks, Vimby. Thank you, all of you, for your calls. This is 98 FM's Dublin Talks. And that's it from us for today. Thanks for joining us. If you've something you want to bring up, send me an email right now. DublinTalks@98fm.com. DublinTalks@98fm.com. And if you happen to be in a newsagent this afternoon, pick up a copy of the Herald, and you'll find my very first article, my very first column in the Herald. We're delighted with it. So pick up a copy of the Herald if you're passing by newsagents this afternoon. Have a great Thursday. I'll talk to you tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock.
Dublin Talks continues now on Facebook Facebook and Twitter. Contact the show 24 hours a day on 6797 981.